You're listening to the Asian MMA Podcast, where we talk about everything and anything going on in the world of Asian MMA. And this episode is brought to you by that gi you forgot in your bag after training, and now it smells of pure funk. I'm Dana Bluin, and today we're talking about this absolutely bizarre press release that One Championship sent out last week. Now, this thing popped into my email, and the title's One Championship announces partnership with Global Association of Mixed Martial Arts. Now, I've never heard of the Global Association of Mixed Martial Arts. I've never heard of it, or GAMMA, since their actual name's a mouthful. So before I even read the press release, I went over to good old Google to see what would come up. I type in Global Association for Mixed Martial Arts. Oddly enough, the first result, the very first thing at the top of the page, not a sponsored ad, but an actual result, was a site for IMAF, the International Mixed Martial Arts Federation. And trust me, I'll get to why that's so funny. And that's not what Google returns now. They've obviously updated their SEO. Now the GAMMA site is the first thing to come up. But at the time, it wasn't, and that was really strange to me. I go down the second result, which is their actual site. I click it, and their homepage is the goddamn One Championship press release. Not like a news page or a page about, the actual organization. Their homepage, their actual homepage, has a picture of Chatri at the top and the verbatim press release below it. Just copy paste right into the homepage of this organization. Like, they have nothing else to say about themselves. They have to just show this One Championship press release. Really, really weird. Same press release I have in my inbox. So now I figure, they must not really have anything to say about themselves. Everything on there seems to be about one. So that's really the first red flag. Red flags in the air, number one. I decide to read the press release at this point, and it gives you, the typical flowery stuff about One Championship that's in every press release. And it goes on to talk about GAMMA, and it says they were founded in 2018, and that's almost a red flag in itself, because we're barely halfway into, we're not even halfway into 2019, and they were just founded in 2018. But not necessarily a red flag. I'm going to give them some leeway here. I'm about to throw the flag, and then it gets to the description of GAMMA's mission. And I want to read this quote directly so I don't get it wrong. GAMMA's objective is to obtain international recognition for mixed martial arts as an Olympic sport in order to give all amateur mixed martial artists the platform and opportunity to fulfill their dream of competing on the Olympic stage. So, now hold on. That sounds a lot like the mission of one of the organizations I've known for years has been working towards getting amateur MMA in the Olympics. The one organization whose president has been to every country in Asia meeting with sports ministries to get approval in each country, and also Europe and the US and South America. He's been everywhere evangelizing for MMA at the amateur level, at the Olympic level. The organization that, if you go to the Wikipedia page for mixed martial arts, for the actual sport, this organization is listed as the governing body for amateurs. That's not GAMMA, it's IMAF. GAMMA isn't listed there because they're not even an official governing body. They're too young to qualify as an actual international governing body. They don't meet the criteria to do it. So it's just such a strange thing to me. Now, in my experience, no organization has been more involved with helping to develop amateur MMA than IMAF. I've run into their president, Kareth Brown, in 4 different countries in Asia because he has been there traveling to help promote the sport. That is how active this guy is. Last time I saw him, he was in Bangkok, and then he was flying home to London for a day before leaving to go, I think, to the Philippines. So he is constantly on the move. So knowing what I do about IMAF's involvement in global amateur MMA, the major role that they've played in developing amateur MMA in Asia, I mean, they've done so much in Thailand and Malaysia, every single country, they've had involvement in the Philippines. I ran into Kareth in China at an event because he was there helping to make sure that, they understood the standards and that the amateur rule sets were followed. I mean, him and IMAF have been so involved, but I've never heard of Gamma. I know what their involvement has been. And so when I see that the whole Gamma and One Championship press release, and then it's the actual press release on their homepage, I have to wonder what the actual fuck is going on. Now, out of nowhere, Gamma shows up, pretty much has the same mission as the key player in the game, IMAF, and now one is their partner. If that doesn't sound shady, I don't know what does. I mean, I'm not saying anyone shady is involved, but they just come out of nowhere and now they're partnering with one and one's plastered all over their homepage. Of course, I don't have all the answers, right? I don't have all the information. I'm sure there are moving parts behind the scenes that a lot of people don't see, but this kind of goes back to that whole lack of transparency that I've talked about previously with organizations in the region. Now, when something smells fishy, you have to assume there's something going on. I just don't know what it is yet. I'm going to have to dig a little deeper. And if you guys know anything, let me know. I mean, reach out to me. Maybe I'm wrong about Gamma, or maybe you know something I don't, but to me, it just seems like they came out of nowhere. It's a very strange thing. So, like I said, if you guys know anything, feel free to reach out to me, AsianMMApodcast@gmail.com. Hit me up on AsianMMApodcast.com. Leave a comment in wherever you're watching this. I'd love to hear more information. Or if you guys have experiences with Gamma or know anything about it, or IMAF, or any of the international governing bodies, even from another sport, I'd love to talk to you. Now, back to the Asian MMA, amateur MMA note, because amateur MMA is such an important thing for the development of fighters, especially in Asia. The IMAF Asian Open will be held here in Bangkok the first week of May. So hopefully I'll be able to get to sit down with Kareth and talk to him about what's going on in Asian MMA for amateurs and what we can expect to see over the next couple of years. I think that would be really interesting. Hopefully I'll be able to get some time with Kareth. I know he'll be here for the whole week, or he should be here for the whole week anyway, and I'll be able to maybe tackle him, pull him aside, but I'm sure he'll be busy as well. But we'll get someone to talk about that. Anyway, I wanted to get that rant out there because it was just so strange to me. It was like I was living in bizarro land. Until next time, to stay up to date with all things Asian MMA, be sure to subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, YouTube, Facebook. Anywhere you listen to podcasts, I will be there. If I'm not where you listen to podcasts and you're seeing this somewhere else and you want me on that platform, let me know. I'll go submit the RSS feed and try to get it on there. I want to make it easy for you guys to find.